Representative Hagan and I were just now working on the bill. We should hopefully introduce it here within the next 2 to 3 weeks. But basically, it's a premise of, and it's actually a great idea. Representative Hagan, I believe it was with Ryan that this conversation came up, and it's a great one of putting, whether you, the reporter, come to the school, or it's the guy that's down the street working in the shop on a car, helps them get into the schools to give some career guidance and pathways, and it helps guidance counselors in our schools so that they're not overwhelmed. They're able to help utilize this as a career mentoring process. And then we hope to find ways to offer an incentive to allow these people to come to the schools to do this and move it forward in the right direction. Yep.
Just to connect with that point as well, we think that it can be multifaceted, further from just assessing and attempting to help the student, also having professionals who are willing to work in mentorship and with our educators and also our administrators, so that there's a synthesis between the educational community and the business community, so that creates that seamless transition a little quicker and with more ease, because there will already be the relationships built previous to students graduating high school, and educators will have references of who to connect with if they haven't already built those types of relationships, because we have a lot of young folks going into education who may not have had those long-term relationships to be able to say, this would be a really great person to talk to on behalf of these types of issues if you have interest. So I think it's just providing a greater framework for not only students, but educators and administrators as well.
On the operational efficiency benchmarks, do you anticipate any of that dealing with the concerns that have been raised before about redundancy among universities?
That's a good question, and this is, again, recommendations that we're kind of throwing out there to bring these folks to the table as we talk in interested party meetings. We don't want to create redundancy. That's the last thing that we want to do, or create any kind of extra bureaucratic work for the universities, which is what we're trying to streamline. We just want to make it more efficient and see if these are opportunities and avenues that we can have that conversation continue. And let me also say this. There's been some other great ideas that were not even mentioned in this report that we're very supportive of. Representative Danielski brought forward the issue of suicide prevention and what we need to do in the colleges all around campuses in our state. We're very supportive of those kind of things, and she's going to continue to carry forward on those bills. Representative Ramos brought forward in the budget process a finishing fund that would take students that have family issues and then end up losing their financial aid halfway through their college career and picking up, in a sense, a new opportunity-based funding source that would be helpful to students to finish that degree, at-risk students. It's a great concept, something that we are all talking about and continue to work with Representative Ramos on. So there's a lot of other things that spun off this report and through the higher education process, through the budget process, that are still working with other members as well. So like I said, this is not the all and be-all. There's a lot of members doing a lot of good things in the higher education field. These are just some of the recommendations that we have found necessary to talk about and zero in on as we continue through the process. Any other questions?